So my name is Liz Scott, and I am here with Hitendra to be able to share some insights into accounting technology for our industry, and specifically whenever it comes to AI. How should we be using AI, thinking about AI, and growing our foundational understanding so that way we can actually incorporate it into our business.
Hi, so my name is Hitendra Patil, and I've been in the accounting profession for nearly 20 years, working exclusively with accountants in some capacity or other. I've worked with offshore outsourcing company exclusively for accountants again. I worked with software companies that produce softwares exclusively for accountants. I have written 3 books exclusively for accountants. In fact, now I just don't know how to work with anybody else other than accountants.
So you
Mm,
wrote an AI book for
yeah,
accountants.
right. Mhm.
And you want to kind of share some of the background, what went into the research for that accounting book in the
Sure.
AI space?
Sure. So AI, I've been kind of tracking it for years and years. I think in 2005, when then Google CEO talked about a browser, or no, not a browser, a search engine that knows it all, he was actually hinting towards AI. And then in 2015-ish, I actually installed IBM Watson on my home computer and thought it will do everything. And then I realized, wait, it doesn't have data. So without data, it cannot do anything. And after I put in some data in there, then it's like a natural language processing. It took over. So that was my first real hands-on AI foray into it. So I actually got that implemented with the software company that I worked for. And that was for customer support on the payroll and accounting side, 2 different softwares. And that brought down the customer support tickets, if you will, by 30-40% because people could find their own answers based on the data that we trained on. So it had a powerful impact. And then I was researching what's happening, where the investments are going in the AI and technology field. And before that, I had my AI book written on the fundamentals. I didn't want to write it about any particular tool. And they said, now I can't wait. I got to just publish it, come what may, right? So then I launched the book. Fortunately, it's about fundamentals. It talks about what AI is, how it is created, how it learns on its own, and how it works. And then I try to apply that to the accounting professions very specifically. What can we do in the accounting profession using AI? It's not just using a general, but otherwise also. So fortunately now, some of the biggest software companies are bringing in AI built into the softwares. It's still early days, but that will change the whole game for accountants. One is, go to ChatGPT, do your research, do your writing stuff and things like that. It helps productivity, but when it comes to applying AI to your day-to-day stuff, I'm definitely looking forward to these big softwares actually bringing in AI within the software.
I love that.
Mm,
And I had the pleasure of being able to hear you speak, and you were
mm,
talking about the way that AI actually grabs the information and then
mm.
makes it available to you. So, do
That's
you
right.
want to kind of talk about, like, if I was going to ask a question to, let's just say ChatGPT, because all of us know that one. If I was going
Mm.
to ask a question, how exactly is that answer formed when we're asking those questions to tools like ChatGPT?
It's an interesting question. The way these generative AI tools are created is you feed a ton of data in that, and from that, it organizes that data in tokens and whatnot. So essentially, ChatGPT as a language model is just looking for the next best probable word in a sequence of words, right? So, which means you give it a sentence, it goes in, looks at several things, and simultaneously, there's this concept called neural net. So it's not like a single search, like millions of searches going on inside that database. And then it brings probability and gives you the answer, right? So it keeps there. That's why it looks like it's typing in like a chat, because it's just, creating that next possible word. It has evolved. It does get into a little bit of a context, and as much as language model gets trained with industry specific data, it will generate better and better answers. But let's say ChatGPT trained on the whole internet, not necessarily specifically about tax code or accounting transactions and all that, right? So now when you type in anything, it tries to go and look at that data and bring what it thinks is the most probable answer. So that's why we have this term called prompt engineering. The more clear, more specific you are in terms of asking the AI model what you really want, the better the answer will be.
Great point.
Mhm.
So I think that that's where a lot of accountants are struggling with how is the answers being formed. And I think that what you just said is crystal clear. So if you think about you've got a pool of information. So we're giving AI, we're giving these data lakes information about what is it that we're doing. It's being fed information, so it's thinking about or it's just pulling all of that data together. And then when we ask questions, like you said, the more specific that we get, that's
Right.
whenever we can start to take all of that data and AI is starting to go, okay, well, here's the best way to answer your specific question. So when I hear people talk about prompts,
Mhm.
that's where I hear you saying we're going to get better answers if we're doing a better job at prompts. So, do you want to kind of talk about what kind of prompts are going to help AI with answering our questions?
You see, prompts, it has to be specific, as I said. If you're saying, okay, you just create a background. Okay, I am an accountant and I have a client which has this situation. He has an LLC, which is an S corp, whatever. So you give that information in. And then you come to describing the situation. Now, this business owner wants to take out some money from whatever, right? The company account, and it's not a salary, but it's just a withdrawal, right? So distribution maybe, and how is that going to impact the taxability in the future? What percentage of money can this person take out? So some of these laws are there. That's why you're asking. The other option for you to is to go to Google and search yourself. But now with ChatGPT or any other large language model, this research becomes much quicker as long as you input the correct background, the correct situation, and the correct question for which you're looking for an answer. So that's the way you structure. In fact, I go to an extent of telling accountants, forget the generative AI models, forget chat GPTs and LLMs. You need to train up your clients to be the prompt engineers. Means you become a prompt engineer for your clients. So you teach your clients, here are the questions you should ask me as an accountant, because that's when I deliver the most value, right? So, so you become the
Like
prompt
that.
engineer for your clients. If you can do that, your job will become easier and people will see your value far more.
I love that. Okay, so
Mm.
what kinds of questions do you think that clients should be asking accountants?
Yeah, so clients, I keep doing this poll constantly. Every year I launch it again and again. When you hear the word accountant or CPA, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? This is a poll directed towards not accountants, but technically public. And the three answers that I keep getting generally is financial statements, balance sheet, tax return. If that's the perception, people don't know because they are not trained accountants, right? So let's say an accountant does accounting for a small but growing business, inventory-based business, and there are decisions made by the business owner to stock up on inventory all of a sudden, and you as an accountant, you notice. So what happened? Why did you invest so much money? Because if the inventory doesn't turn around, you're going to be in trouble because your money is blocked. And they say, oh no, I heard the news that it's going to rain or whatever, then this stock will go fly off the shelf. Okay, so there are these decisions that business owners are making. So based on accountants' expertise of connecting the dots in this financial data, you're applying your mind already. The decisions that the clients are making, which are resulting in the numbers that the accountant sees. Now, the accountant has a natural kind of curiosity or puzzle. Oh, wait, why did he change the decision like this suddenly? The client, right? So now you go and train up your client. Okay, before you make any different in inventory decisions, why don't you just ask me, should I be doing this? And then I can tell you, wait, your sales are slow, the natural speed is not there, and you suddenly create products that will just lie in your warehouse. So where are you going? Are you expecting some bulk order and hence you're doing it? If not, what is the decision that you're? This is just one example. There are plenty of decisions that the accountants' clients make, not necessarily based on accounting data and connecting the dots. That's the job of the accountant. So as much as you can train up your clients on critical business decision making, then you can come up with questions. For example, should I be borrowing money for temporary cash flow shortage? So wait a second. You have two of your biggest clients who have not paid you for the last 90 days. Just go and ask for money, right? So those kinds of things. So if clients bring pre-business decision questions to the accountant, you can make more impact. Even post-business decision, hey, I did this. I should have asked you, Mr. Accountant or Miss Accountant, but what do you think will happen? Those are the things. It's not looking at a document. Okay, I received my financial statement for this month. I got to pay now. It should not be like that.
So what I hear you talking about is the role of the accountant and the way that we can shape that moving forward. And part of that is being able to look at data trends.
Right. Yeah.
So when I'm thinking about AI tools
Mhm.
and data trends, to me that gets exciting.
Mhm.
So do you see any progress, or what are your thoughts around being able to use AI for data trends for clients?
It is definitely there. It's happening. Most of the big software companies that I've been tracking their AI roadmaps. Those are published, so you can actually go on their websites and find them. So typically, let's say you, as an accountant, you have 7, 10 different softwares. Just go on their websites and find their AI roadmaps. That will tell you what they're trying to build, right? So it is happening. From based on what I've seen so far, most of the AI development within these solutions is happening towards analytics more and more. For example, a financial statement, if the client has access to the accounting software and the client goes and looks at the financial statement, you can actually talk to the financial statement. So it brings prompts. Okay, your profit increased by 3.5%, and here are the two biggest contributors for that profit increase. Those come automatically. And now you're like, wait a second. But that's my smallest selling item. So how can that be possible? So you can actually interact, right? Now, those interactions are going towards the software, not towards the accountant, right? But not necessarily the client who is not trained in accounting will really understand all of this, right? So it's like you give a very high-tech tool in the hands of a child, and then you have a problem. How does the child operate that? So that's where the accountant comes in. And in general, I've seen AI has a great capability of managing and handling very large volumes of data, which is what accountants have been doing. Get the data in the right place, convert data into information, apply mind, find insights. All of that can get processed by AI as we go forward. So ultimate aim of all of the work that we've been doing so far was not that you just create data and put it in the right place and generate insight. How do you apply your knowledge of accounting and this intelligence from data to help the business or financial situations of the clients? That's the aim. I think we're going towards that as a community of accountants, right? So my whole pitch or urge to the accountants is, if there is a scale, data and decisions, you go more towards decisions than towards data. So if your work involves a lot of handling of data, you got to change your business model, right? So from that angle, I see, like, for example, there is a workflow software that has been used by several accountants for years and years. So it has seen probably all sorts of workflows inside that software that accountants can never conceive of. Right? Now, a new employee comes into this accounting firm that uses this workflow software. Now, somebody has to train that person. Here is how we do our month-end close, right? Instead, the employee can use that inbuilt large language model chat. Please build me a checklist of month-end close, and it does a damn good job of it, right?
Mhm.
So you're looking at tremendous amount of productivity gains. Obviously, the checklist that it generated sounds too good to be true. It is perfect, but then somebody's got to look at it. Yeah, this is how we do it at our firm as well, right? But then imagine the effort that you don't have to make. because AI is there for you to give that kind of analytical output to anyone who's trying to do some process. So it is all going towards that. So all this knowledge of accounting profession, tax profession, audit profession that has been going into the software for years and years and years now suddenly is leverageable by AI in very different ways than ever before.
I agree with you. I think that one of the things that accountants have been plagued with for years is the amount of information is overwhelming.
Correct. That's
So
right.
being able to access it, process it as a team and leadership has been something that we've struggled with.
Mhm.
So I see AI as an opportunity in that space. And it's like you said, part of what we need to be doing is thinking about how to deliver that information to our clients.
Yeah.
So thinking about these tools that are available out there, are you seeing any of these companies that you're studying doing it well?
Yeah, so some things I've seen in some of the most common softwares are very promising. Uh, it's not there yet in terms of complete overhaul of things, but it's all in the works. So you're going to look at what's coming, and then you have to think through, wait, if this is what AI is going to do, what do I call as work? My work is defined, for example, as an accountant. I get information, I process, whatever, right? But if AI is going to, let's say, do 33% of that, right? If the clients also know, hey, this is going to be done automatically, so what will the clients pay me for, right? So that we need to definitely look at. But I do see in accounting softwares, in payroll softwares, for example, payroll softwares can tell you across your 89 payroll clients whose data has not come in yet, or whose approvals have not been done because the client wants to approve payrolls on there. This is pure data matching. But AI can help you just fire a query into your payroll software rather than run a report. That the way we work itself changes, right? I don't have to run a report, go through all the line items, look at the exceptions and things like that, right? So here I can put fire a query into large language model built into the system. Same thing on accounting. Show me anomalies in a bank statement. Yeah. So at Datamatics, in another group company, we have a product called TrueBot, it and True AI. So it actually gets the whole bank statement inside, and then you actually start interacting with that while it is converting the data to put it in the accounting software and all that stuff. But instead of just going through that motion, you can actually quickly say, okay, which are the unusual transactions in the statement, right? Because those are the ones most likely you would need to classify differently, right? So those things can happen with AI. So a lot of these things are coming in. Audit, I know this is audit. AI actually got into audit software much earlier. And essentially, the claims made by those companies where it can find uh, 20, 30% more anomalous transactions than a human auditor can find because it can process 100% of the transactions, not just sample data for audit, right? So those things are happening. The problem is how do we leverage what's happening? How will it impact what we're doing? Can we deliver different level of service and outcome to our clients leveraging these new developments in AI? I think that is the key. Mhm.
And I agree with you that there's
Mhm.
a change that's happening and it's happening very, very quickly.
Yeah.
It's exciting. I hear some people say, "Oh, it's going to take my jobs." I think that
Mhm.
it's going to change our jobs.
Correct. Yeah.
And I think it's exactly what you're laying out here is that it's the interpretation of the data that our clients are needing. They're
Yeah.
great at doing whatever it is that they've been put in a position to do. But it's the trends, it's the analytics, it's the comprehension of that data that I think that accountants have got a genuine opportunity to be able to start actually offering some of that advice and not just in what they believe they're seeing, but also in trends and being able to lay it out. Here's the specifics, and here's maybe even a roadmap to be able
Yeah.
to help with cash flow or best clients or AI insights. So, what trends are you seeing that you want to make sure that accountants are paying attention to?
I think AI itself is a mega trend, right? So it's all encompassing, massive, and we just don't know where to look for, what to use it for. Just like, blockchain when it came on the world map, it was then labeled as a solution looking for a problem. We don't want AI to be like that. It shouldn't be a solution looking for a problem. So I'll give you an example here. Typical AI, any AI, it requires a lot of data to be able to generate its own intelligence, right? So it's about existing data. But then your clients have things in their minds. Based on that, they make their decisions, and those decisions create new data. That mind, the AI cannot read. You can have that discussion with your client to read their mind and ask questions, figure out what they want to do. I remember one of my CPA clients who specialized in restaurant accounting. And one of the restaurant owners, like a single owner restaurant, good restaurant, but just one location, and this guy, the owner, comes to accountant's office, sits there worried, and the accountant says, "What's happening? Is there anything I can help you with?" He said, "I'm always worried about, people stealing inventory in my restaurant." So what do you mean? So he goes deep in his coat pockets and brings out two live lobsters and puts on the accountant's desk. He says, "So what are you saying, Mr. Restaurant owner?" Say, like, this is one of the more expensive things. So I got to guard and I came here. I had only two lobsters left, so I brought them here. Okay? And the accountant says, "Wait, you don't have to do that. If I do your inventory trends analysis and give it to you, you will be able to know just by numbers. You don't have to do this." Right? So those kinds of things accountants can figure out, right? So as a matter of keeping an eye on the path forward, you got to be abreast of what's happening in the AI world, specifically in the software solutions that you're currently using. You don't have to look at the entire world.
Makes me, we're talking about a lot of solutions, and you
Mm.
definitely have your finger on the pulse of a lot of technology that's out there. Are there technologies that accountants should be looking for that have caught your attention?
Yeah, so there are these new apps, tools, whatever you call it, products, they're coming in. So somebody trained Chat GPT based product on the entire tax code of US and Canada. And you go in there and you ask a tax related question on that, it gives you far more specific, very particular answer than normal LLM can give you, right? So like that, there are tools that are being made, and there are, of course, multiple tools. I'm not going to, refer to a particular tool, but generally, if you feel that you are spending a ton of time researching information and data, then you start looking for that kind of a tool. And as such, you'll find, many Facebook groups are flush with a lot of ideas there. People share this tool, that tool, right? And even if you just do typical Google search, okay, AI tax tool, and you'll get a ton of results, right?
Right.
And then you look at, wait, who's making this tool? That's another key thing that you need to make sure. If the tool is created by largely unknown entity, you don't want to risk everything. You got to make sure that whoever creates is a reliable company, right? Otherwise, there are far too many people, jumping on the bandwagon, right? So let's say you do payroll, you do audit, you do taxes, you do accounting, you do bookkeeping, you do cash flows, you do analytics, advisory. In each of those service lines, you should look for AI tools. Ideally, I would go in for integrated tools. If I'm using an accounting software, within that software, if there is AI, good. If not, which is the tool that can actually connect with my accounting software, and hence I should use that. Otherwise, then you're again doing copy pasting data from one to another, and then bringing it back. It will just generate more inefficiency, right? So you need to have the completely integrated approach for this. So that will also reduce your choice of number of softwares to evaluate. Instead of evaluating 20 softwares, AI tools, you might be evaluating maybe three. So that will save you a ton of time, right?
I think that's excellent advice. You're right.
Mhm. Mhm.
These models are working off of the data, so being integrated is important. And like you said, we are working with sensitive information, so make sure that you are checking out where you're sending information and
Yeah.
think about those systems as you are feeding it information, being
Yeah.
careful about what it is that
Right.
you're putting
Mhm.
out there.
Mhm.
Tundra, it's been an honor to interview you. I'd love to ask you, is there anything else that you would love for CPAs to know about in this space whenever we're thinking about AI and technology?
Yeah, I think as a community, we have been born and brought up on to learning software tools as they come along, right? So something comes along, you start from there and say, oh, here is why it's not working. Oh, this should be like this. So we kind of try to reverse engineer what the software is doing in our minds, right? And then we somehow get used to the software. But then we didn't have incentive enough for us to really learn how programmers are coding those softwares that we've been using. But with AI, because it's such a comprehensive kind of a tool, ideally one should definitely make an effort to understand the core. How is AI created? How it learns on its own and how it actually works. If you know the fundamentals, you're able to kind of anticipate, "Oh, here's where I can use this particular AI tool in a better way." So look at the fundamentals. You don't have to be a programmer to learn it. I'm not a programmer myself, although I've been using technology forever, right? But then I could figure out, oh, wait, this is very simple. It's all data in there and patterns in the data, which AI is able to very, very quickly in split seconds, do all the connects and tell me. So I save a ton of time, right? So look at all of that. And one more thing, one of my clients in Carolina is a CPA firm. So they have this internal rule, 1% of the top line revenue is earmarked for technology experimentation, and somebody is responsible for that. We don't do technology evaluation just because the world is doing, but I got to invest my time and money to make sure that I am finding those new tools that will help me, my firm, and of course my clients. So if you go in a very purposeful way, I think you'll make a lot of difference for yourself.
I think that's an excellent call out is that we need to be spending time that's dedicated to technology and having a rule 1%, whatever the rule is, follow that. And so that can
Right.
be leadership that is going and exploring technology, allocating time or funds for your team to go and do training. I think that that's excellent ideas, especially as we're seeing so much advancement happening so fast.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Crazy world out there right now.
It is. It's exciting though.
It
I think we
is.
have an opportunity that we won't have again for a long time. So I see this as an opportunity for accounting to become very relevant. I
Yeah.
think that we are the ones who get to see a lot of trends happening all the time, but being able to actually make that relevant in business economics, I think is an exciting time period. So
Yeah,
thank you
absolutely.
for
Thank
today.
you. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm glad we could catch up and share some new insights, most likely useful for the audience.